Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we told you that we were going to have the Barbados Transport Board in this morning to talk a little bit about them launching the new cashless system for paying bus fares. And it's really designed to make traveling more convenient, more secure, and far more efficient for commuters. So we had to have Chief Operations Officer at the Transport Board, Lynda Holder, come in to join us this morning. Of course, I'm happy to see that you're in your beautiful national colors as well.
But of course. Good morning, Tisha. I have a little frog in my throat, but these things happen. Morning, Barbados, and morning, Tisha.
All right, so talk to us. I think the last major change that we would have seen is years ago, for people who would remember, a move from having conductors, as they were
Yes.
called then, to just the driver. So then you had the system where you would come in and pay and make your way onto the bus. And now we're hearing about another change at the board.
Well, we strive very hard to make sure we continue to move forward. We have been around since 1955, and each time we try to make changes that makes travel for the Barbadian public easier and more convenient. So yes, we would have gone through some major challenges and some major changes over the years, and actually the most recent would have been the move to the electric buses. But for customer engagement, what we're trying to do now is to move to a more cashless society. We are actually launching that from December 1st, but we're going to be launching it in different stages. So we start first with our old age pensioners. We're going to start with the most vulnerable and the concessionary ridership. And we want to make sure that when we move to this new technology, they are not disadvantaged in any way. So for the old age pensioners, we start with them, and there is going to be seamless. If you already have your Trident ID card and it's been pinned, you board the bus, and everyone will be seeing on those buses the new modules that are mounted on the side, or there's a tablet by the driver. You tap and you go. If your Trident ID card has not been pinned, or you haven't gotten that card as yet, when you get on board the bus, you do as you were doing before, and you show that card to the driver, and he will then tap for you until we get everyone into the system.
All right, so I understand it's going to be a phased approach based on the fact that you said you're going to start with our pensioners first. Talk to us about how it will unfold.
So as we launch December 1st, as I said, when you board the buses and you're a pensioner, you will now be asked to tap on the module, and if you're not able to tap for whatever reason, then the driver will tap for you. The next category of rider that we will be dealing with will be the student population, and they will all be issued cards that allows them to do the same thing. Basically, what the system is going to do for the board is to help us be more efficient in that we'll be able to track our ridership better. We'll be able to pick up on our demographics for those areas that we're getting more persons boarding from, that right now we're working with manual intervention, which can or cannot be right sometimes. And then we'll also include the police, which is another category of concessionary ridership. And by the time we finish that in December, which is the busiest month of the year, so anything that can go wrong will go wrong then. We'll work with all of our kinks, and January 1, we'll be able to open it then to the regular traveling public, which would be the persons who have to then put money on the card and then board and tap.
Have we already worked out the logistics where our students are concerned to be able to get the card to them and ensure that they're able to ride?
We're going into the schools because we believe in taking it to where they are. It doesn't make sense trying to get everyone to come to us. We've already started with a number of schools where we've gone in, explained what we're seeking to do, given them demos on how the system would work. So when the students are coming back in, we'll be able to issue the cards out to them then and there.
All right, very interesting stuff. Now, will they be able to travel if they don't have the card? Because we know for some students, we know how it is with students.
We know how
with
it
the best
is.
of intentions. Some students are going to lose those cards, and that might be one of the biggest worries for parents.
Yes, but if you recall, some people might not be old enough to know this, but you remember when we had bus tickets?
I remember.
And each time you boarded, the driver was clipping that bus ticket. So it became a part of your, do you have your school bag? Do you have your belt? Do you have your book for homework? Do you have your bus ticket? And it got to that point that eventually everyone knew they had to have that bus ticket if they want to board the bus. But we will never turn back any student. As long as you're in school uniform and you're 18 years and under, you are, based on our laws, able to travel concessionary ridership. So we will continue to do that until it filters right through society and they understand this is the new way of traveling. So it's not going to disenfranchise anyone at all.
Okay, will the rollout be across the country or will you be testing in certain areas?
For the old age pensioners, which is we're doing it in categories as opposed to locations. So we will roll out across the country in categories. So from December 1st, any old age pensioner boarding the bus, and in this case for us that is 65 and older, you board the bus, you show your card, any of the buses that are managed by the transport board, and this also includes a tap. So you'll board that bus and you will tap that vehicle and you'll go. So all our vehicles now have this mechanism on it. And again, this also includes our tap vehicles. Tap it and go.
All right, and when we say the tap vehicles, just to be clear for everyone, these are the vehicles that are look like PSV but are operating like...
by the transport board. So they all carry a little yellow triangle that has our logo on it. And they're part of what we call the Transport Augmentation Program. So they operate out of our terminals on our routes under our same rules and regulations. And I will repeat that piece, under our same rules and regulations. So anything that we do on the big blue buses, we do on the other ones as well, as long as they're operated by the transport board.
Will there be any differences for travelers who are hopping on multiple buses to travel by way of the pensioners and the school children? I know for others you still have to pay for each leg of your journey, but for pensioners and school children specifically, will there be any differences for that?
No, they continue to travel concessionary, basically free for them. The government of Barbados facilitates that, and they just move from point to point as they continue to do. All this is doing for them is being able to allow us to track that demographic better. And that gives us more information that we can make more informed decisions.
Absolutely. And how can people reach out? I know people will have questions. How can they reach out to the board to be able to garner more information, or if they have questions, if they want to get the cards reissued, for example, how will that work out?
Well, we are working through our customer service segment right now. So let's start with email. It's btb.customerservice@barbados.gov.bb. If you're going to be calling us, it is 535-3572 or 73. And you can reach out to us at any time. Well, the telephone numbers will be between regular working hours, 8 to 4:30, but the email will be manned, and you can send us an email asking any questions you want to ask. We will also be posting information, apart from coming to people like you in the media. We'll be posting information on our website and on our social media platforms with the frequently asked questions that we are getting, so that anyone can go there and see what is happening. And that will go up from as early as this week.
Talk to us about the difference this capturing this information in real time will make to the board. I know you mentioned that you'll be able to make more informed decisions, but what are some of the ways that you're looking maybe in future to be able to make travel far more easier and more efficient, like you said is the mandate of this particular cashless system?
Well, one of the biggest issues we have at the board right now is the purple. And this has been historical. You will even remember back in the day, people have shows that would say, "Where is the bus?" So we are going to be able to address those issues going forward. All of our buses are going to be equipped with GPS coming out of the same system. So we will be able to say to some person, "Well, I didn't get a bus." "No, ma'am, you did. It passed at this time. It was BM whatever." Or, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. We had a delay." And we'll be able to post that information more quickly, so people understand what is going on in the public transport system that is controlled by us. But in addition to that, at some point in time in the near future, the riders, the commuters themselves, will be able to go online, go on their cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone these days, and be able to see where that bus actually is. So that is the intention going forward, not just for us to be able to capture demographics, but for us to be able to interact with our commuters more efficiently and let them be also able to make more effective decisions. You do not want to be standing at a bus stop and saying, "Oh my God, it was supposed to be a 7 o'clock bus, there isn't any," and not be able to speak to any of us or to get that information. we're all moving. You just spent a whole segment talking about AI and what emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence is going to mean for us going forward. And we are also going to be part of that journey to make sure that our commuters can make decisions as well.
And what comes with that in a major way, particularly now we're seeing a big drive toward data security. I know when it came to moving toward the Trident ID cards, there was much discussion about security, data security, sharing private information, and the like. I suspect the conversation will come up again about people tapping their
It
ID
will.
cards. So talk to us about what you're putting in place to ensure that data is safe, because it's important based on the climate that we're living in these days.
And that is the primary reason why we're doing it in stages. We want to make sure that we do not run into any data privacy issues. So starting with concessionary riders, these are people who already travel for free, don't have to give us any information to be able to do that. Because remember, a bus card anywhere in the world is like cash. So if we're not personalizing these cards, then that is literally cash you are walking with. And if you lose that card, you've lost cash. So in trying to make sure we address all of the possible issues, we're making sure we do this slowly and in stages. It took us a while to even get to this point because those sort of issues were coming up in the background. When I go and I put money on a card, what does that mean for me? Am I registering? And there's a segment of society that will be registered. But the bulk of persons will be able to just go, get a card, put money on it, and board that bus and tap. That way we eliminate some of the possible issues that will come with data security or data privacy concerns.
Absolutely. Does that include the students?
Yes.
Okay, so those cards for the students are just regular cards that in future you're able to use.
Think of it like a bus
and there's
ticket.
no attached information.
Think of it like a bus ticket.
Okay.
So there will be a security code on that card, but it's not going to be capturing information that is going to make us go into privacy issues. Remember, students are minors. So any information we want to capture from them, we have to go through not just the Ministry of Education, but also their parents. So before we start with anything like that, we have to make sure we have gone through every possible scenario. So maybe in the future, we will personalize them. But in the initial stages, it'll be a card that they can just tap and go.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like Barbadians to know as we get ready to move into the system next week? You said it's going to roll out
December
from the 1st
1.
of December, my
1.
favorite month.
Yes.
So, you know, is
Well,
there
outside of
anything else?
October.
Pardon?
Outside of October. December is my favorite month.
Outside of October. Yeah.
But yes, what we want them to do is not be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the technology. As we start to roll out, ask us questions. If you are seeing something, you're saying, well, what does this mean for me? How does this work? Ask us questions. We will be around constantly encouraging persons. But as I said, starting in stages to make sure we work out all the kinks. Old age pensioners, particularly, one of the biggest questions that keep coming up is how will this affect their travel? They still travel for free. So I want to make sure we're all clear on that. If you board that bus and for whatever reason your card is not working, you still travel for free. The driver will just tap you in and it'll continue to go. One of the other questions that have come up as we continue to discuss it is, if I board the bus and my card doesn't have enough money on it, what happens? Well, the system will literally give you an alert and it will come up saying red, insufficient funds. Unfortunately, we are not at a stage where we can do part on the card and part in cash, so you will be forced to pay cash. But you can always go to one of our points. We're starting with the cashiers at the board themselves at our different terminals to top up, and you can always go there to verify how much is on the card if you're not sure for any reason. But generally going forward, the system will be able to tell you exactly what is happening on your card.
And to be able to top up, do you need to top up at your stations with cash, or will you be able to use your cards and so on as well?
Going forward, yes. Initially, we'll take in strictly cash, but each of our locations going forward will be able to do anything, debit, credit, anything of that nature.
Okay, so initially when we start next week, you have to show it with cash.
But remember, next week when we start, we're not starting with the average traveler.
Okay.
Only old age pensioners. So you don't have to show up with anything. That allows us just to get our systems working in the background and make sure that what we have seen on paper and we've tested is working. So old age pensioner boards the bus, don't have to do anything. If you have your Trident ID card, you tap. If it is pinned, it will be registered on the system already, so you'll travel. If it isn't pinned and you tap and nothing happens, the driver will do it for you on his own module. And the module that you're tapping is about the size of a cell phone, you know, but the driver will have a tablet in front of him if for any reason that doesn't work for you.
All right, this is very interesting first stage. And I can see how this can move to make travel in Barbados far more efficient, if only because, as you mentioned, you'll be able to figure out which routes might have more travelers,
and the
might have a
times that
greater
persons are
demand.
traveling.
Absolutely. So congratulations to the board. I look forward to the rollout of this first phase, and to see how it will work, particularly with the little ones. I know
That will be interesting.
I know, yeah, I know the older Barbadians are always ready to go, and they're accustomed to kind of showing their card and so on. But with the little ones with the card, it's kind of hearkened to exactly what you noted before with the bus ticket.
Bus ticket.
So we look forward to seeing how this can change what we do. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank
A
you as
happy
well for having
independence to
me.
you and
Happy
everybody at the board.
Independence to you as well, and to everyone here at CBC.
All right, so they'll be back to share more. Of course, if you have questions, you should definitely get online. And I know they're on socials as well to find out more about what's happening at the Barbados Transport Board with the cashless system coming on stream from December 1 with pensioners and school children. So be on the lookout.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.